In the realm of cultivation, Luo Ling'er, who was preparing to break through to the immortal realm on the mountaintop, was suddenly taken away by a waist-thick lightning bolt. Opening my eyes again, I have already traveled through a wealthy heiress with the same name, surname, and appearance as myself, and I like to mention 3 big brothers. She thought she could just lie flat, but unfortunately, her original body had to rely on herself in the past, and no one knew her identity, which led to her being squeezed by her leaders, bullied by others, and ended up with a sudden death. But as one of the top figures in the world of cultivation, she is both skilled in literature and martial arts, skilled in medicine, and possesses space. How can she be manipulated for nothing? However, since there is a cheap brother in this life, there is no need to waste it. Until one day, the mysterious boss wanted to acquire her family business. It is rumored that he monopolized all walks of life, relying not only on exceptional intelligence, but also on his cruel and ruthless methods. Let's see how she moves. Baby, my husband's body and heart are yours. What do you want? Give it to my husband with an arch of your hand. Luo Ling'er. A plan for a beautiful man. Ha. I already know you are. Someone was angry and pulled Luo Ling'er in front of them. Rumors stop at those who have experienced them. Ling'er, you can come and give it a try. Keywords of the novel. After the failure of crossing the tribulation, she broke into a wealthy family and lay flat without a pop-up window. After the failure of crossing the tribulation, she broke into a wealthy family and lay flat without a pop-up window. Download the complete text. After the failure of crossing the tribulation, she broke into a wealthy family and lay flat without a pop-up window. Read the latest chapter. Chapter 1. Crossing the robbery failed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Crossing the robbery failed. Ah, it hurts so much. I don't want to become a fairy anymore. Luo Ling'er felt her body twisted into a 360-degree angle, then torn into a 180-degree slender straight, with various parts of her body being transformed into strange shapes. Luo Ling'er thought to herself, cultivating immortal fruits is too painful. Don't do it. I want to go home. But others couldn't hear her painful cries. Over Xianling Peak, thunderclouds gather, and countless lightning bolts illuminate the night. I saw a woman in white sitting steadily cross-legged on the mountaintop, surrounded by 5 guards in green. Tonight is the last thunder disaster that the youngest leader of the immortal sect, Luo Ling'er, must go through when entering the immortal family. However, this thunder raid is different from before, with a strong sense of tearing through the void, extremely terrifying. Just as they were about to break through, a sudden change occurred, and a lightning bolt as thick as a bucket struck Lorraine straight, smashing open a space. The bewildered Luo Ling'er was constantly torn apart and reassembled in this twisted space. Just as Luo Ling'er was feeling dizzy and about to fall, an urgent and deep shout came into her ears. Wake up, are you okay? Immediately, Luo Ling'er felt a pair of warm big hands lifting her horizontally. She opened her eyes in a daze and only vaguely saw a man wearing strange clothes. A tear mole under his corner of the eye was shining with a strange light. Is this the fairyland? Luo Ling'er fell asleep with satisfaction, as she had not slept for more than half a month in order to break through this last layer. Opening my eyes again, I woke up with a needle. Luo Ling'er excitedly pushed away the woman who was being subjected to needle piercing and torture. Who are you? How dare you disrespect our sect leader? Don't think that our sect leader can be easily tortured just as he has been promoted to a lower level. The little nurse who was receiving intravenous treatment for the injured person brought to the scene of today's fire was startled. With a regretful expression on his face, he looked at the girl on the hospital bed and said, "She's quite a beautiful little girl. I didn't expect her brain to be a bit off." Luo Ling'er looked up nervously at the strange woman in front of her, wearing a white hat but unable to cover her hair. She was wearing a white robe with her legs exposed underneath. Holding a thin and long needle in his hand, he looked particularly terrifying. Luo Ling'er looked around cautiously at the strange arrangement. and a special and slightly pungent odor came from her nose, causing her to be highly nervous. Suddenly, I felt a fierce piercing sensation in my head. A memory that did not belong to Luo Ling'er surged in, and Luo Ling'er finally understood that she had crossed the realm of cultivation. Now living in modern times, her current name is also Lorraine. I used to be a full-time novel writer, coding until dawn every day. I woke up earlier than a chicken and slept later than a dog. Enduring the editor's reminders every day. Urgent. Reminder. Urgent. Finally one night, I died suddenly from overwork. Luo Ling'er happened to be wearing the same name and surname Luo Ling'er. Luo Ling'er tried her best to digest the impact of her memory and looked up at the girl in front of her. It seemed that she was no longer so terrifying. This girl was a nurse, she was a medical fairy, and could be considered half a colleague. Girl beauty, what's wrong with me? Why are you here? Luo Ling'er's memory got stuck in the moment when she died suddenly while writing at home. Why is she now in the hospital? Your building suddenly caught fire and you were trapped in the fire. A kind-hearted person saved you and brought you to the hospital. The little nurse looked at the seemingly normal beauty in front of her, patiently explained to her, and then gave Luo Ling a fluid infusion. Fortunately, your injury is not serious, you just inhaled a little thick smoke. Just come on time these days and hang a bottle for 2 hours. The little nurse looked at the beautiful woman in front of her who had just experienced a fire, although somewhat embarrassed, still couldn't conceal her beauty and temperament, and kindly opened her mouth. Although your injury is not serious, it is not very convenient to be hospitalized yourself. You can contact your family to take care of you. Family. Luo Ling'er was stunned. Thank you to all the fans who have fallen into the trap. Seeing this shows that we have a fate. It is not easy to code every day. I hope that if you have any suggestions, please also give a 5-star positive review. Don't give negative reviews casually. Thank you to all the beautiful women. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. I am the daughter of a wealthy family. Fragrant. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. I am the daughter of a wealthy family. Fragrant. Luo Ling'er tried hard to recall her family, her father, and her 3 brothers in this lifetime, and her mother had an accident when she was over 2 years old and passed away. At that time, because she was too young, she lost her mother's love. Her father and brothers gave all their love to this little sister, afraid of falling in their hands and melting in their mouths. It was simply a madness to spoil her. The Luo family is also one of the 5 major families in the imperial capital, providing the best food and clothing for Luo Ling'er. This is simply the darling of a wealthy family. Unfortunately, Luo Ling'er, her original body, was not spoiled into a young lady's temper and did not want to grow up in the protective circle of her brothers. Instead, she wanted to be self-sufficient, so she moved out of her home after graduating from high school. Her classmates and colleagues around her only consider her to be a girl from an ordinary family. Luo Ling'er understood the condition of her current body and suddenly realized that she seemed to have been rescued. Otherwise, she would have been burned to ashes as soon as she wore it, which would be too tragic. Nurse, could you please tell me the contact information of the kind-hearted person who saved me at that time? After the kind-hearted person brought you to the hospital, they paid for the hospitalization and left. I'm not sure how to contact them. Luo Ling'er felt a wave of disappointment in her heart. As a cultivator, the most important thing is to repay any kindness. However, since we didn't have the chance to thank each other in person this time, there will definitely be an opportunity in the future, and if we have the chance, we will meet again. After understanding her current situation, Luo Ling'er still misses her days of cultivating immortality. She finally became a top performer in the cultivation world after experiencing the 81 difficulties, and possessed excellent medical skills that could cure the dead and live bones. She made a living in the cultivation world. Legend has it that only the head of Tian Luo Gate in the world of fully cultivating immortals was promoted to the immortal family, and when she was about to become the second successful cultivator, she wore it here. Luo Ling'er perked up and silently recited the cultivation technique. What if the heavenly way treats her exceptionally well? With a thought, damn it. After half a day without the energy of heaven and earth pouring into the elixir field, did you really think too much? Luo Ling'er's eyes gradually darkened as she thought of this. The goal she had persisted in for decades was shattered in an instant. However, cultivation is not possible. Her space for all things may, perhaps, come with her. Before checking, Luo Ling'er clasped her hands together and muttered, "The heavens are vast, you are an invincible good person. If you haven't taken back my space for all things, I will definitely burn incense and send roasted chicken to you every day on the 1st and 15th of the Lunar New Year." Luo Ling'er silently recited in her heart. Enter. A flash, the soul really enters her space. At this moment, Luo Ling'er's mood was really like riding a roller coaster. She looked at the treasures, medicinal herbs, and so on she had collected in the cultivation world, all still in their original positions, and was so happy that she wanted to jump up. She caressed the rare medicinal herbs such as millennium-old Ganoderma lucidum and century-old snow lotus transplanted in the space, as well as various flowers and grass. Still as lively and lovely as before, I couldn't help but take a kiss. Fortunately, you're all still here. Then Luo Ling'er walked to a spring and thought that her body had just become uncomfortable from inhaling thick smoke. She picked up a handful of water and drank it. As Lingquan entered her body, all her internal organs were slowly moistened, and soon the uncomfortable feeling disappeared. Luo Ling'er checked the space and found everything there, so she confidently dodged out. Although it is not possible to cultivate, with space in hand and good medical skills, it seems like there are also the big shots and family members who love her. So there is nothing to be afraid of. Luo Ling'er took out her phone from her pocket, looked at this unfamiliar thing, and slowly turned on the phone. According to her memory, the annoying person called. The annoying person called. A burst of intense ringing frightened Lorraine, who almost threw her phone out. Luo Ling'er glanced at her and clicked to answer. The voice of the irritable man came from her phone. "Lorraine. If you don't send over the latest 10 chapters of novels tonight, you don't have to put them on the shelves. You don't have to ask for salary commissions either." Doodle doodle. Luo Ling'er looked at the hung-up phone with a bewildered expression and secretly wondered. What kind of life did Luo Ling'er live in the past? Let this ordinary person shout and drink. Being in a wealthy family, how could one still live such a miserable life? Luo Ling'er is determined to help her original self live a good life, protect the people and things that her original self cares about, which is also the last thing she can do for her. Luo Ling'er opened the app with the green icon on her phone, and there were already 99 plus unread red characters on it. Basically, it's all information from the family group. Lao Luo Ling'er, why didn't you call back last night? Did you have dinner? No, you stayed up late again. Sleep until now. Second brother. Xiaolioluo, why haven't you replied to messages for so long? Someone shouldn't have bullied you, you're crying. Big brother. Luo Ling'er, our Luo family eats everything but doesn't suffer losses. Whoever bullies you, tell me and I will help you solve it. Third brother. Big brother, please rest assured to help Dad manage the company. Who dares to bully my little sister? I'll let my hands go and deal with him. Luo Ling'er looked at the familiar yet somewhat unfamiliar family members in the group, and her eyes suddenly became moist. She had no parents, no brothers and sisters, and never felt this kind of love. On the contrary, she was full of conspiracy and calculation. The world of cultivating immortals is full of dangers. In addition to being careful of people, she also needs to be careful of fierce beasts that may appear at any time. She can only rely on herself and gradually become stronger. On the path of growth, she is lonely, and any grievances she may face are like losing her teeth. She and swallow it with blood and teeth. Of course, later on, her efforts also allowed her to rise higher and higher, accompanied by opportunities to become a top figure. With her own means, she made everyone fear her and dare not bully her anymore, so the love from her family has always been something she can't hope for but cannot reach. Looking at her father and brothers in the family group who were very caring for her, Luo Ling'er looked up, wiped away the tears from the corners of her eyes, and secretly swore in her heart, "Luo Ling'er, thank you. I will definitely take care of the people who love us on your behalf." Then she replied to the message in the group using the inexperienced 9 palace key input method, and couldn't make her family worry about her, "Who dares to bully me? Don't worry, I just overslept. I love you all." Ding ding ding. Just as Luo Ling'er's message was sent, there was another stir-fry in the family group. "Lao Luo. Why is your mouth so sweet today? Have you finally decided to bite your dad? Big brother. If there's anything, just tell me. Third brother. You're really lazy. You've been sleeping until now. Do you want to play the game of king? Second brother. Ling'er just woke up. Who wants to play games with you? Ling'er, go eat some food. What time is it? Don't get hungry. Third brother. Yes, yes, look at me. Go to eat some food and have a congee. Don't eat too spicy food at first. Got it. I'm going. Luo Ling'er looked at the family's care and felt particularly warm in her heart. After reading the information in the family group, I was about to close the green app when I saw someone else also messaged her. Xian Duo said, "Ling'er, don't forget the evening reunion with your classmates. Zhou Ran will also come, right in Hall 17 of the Imperial Emperor Hotel. How much money is there?" It's her roommate from 4 years of college. She hasn't been in touch for several years, Zhou Ran. It seems like someone Lorraine had a crush on before in college. Baby, please ask for monthly tickets, recommended tickets, and let me know that I am not a single person, okay? End of this chapter. Chapter 3. The first step to a better life. Resign from your job. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. The first step to a better life. Resign from your job. Luo Ling'er was secretly curious. How is her original vision? In the cultivation world, there is no one who can catch my eye, except for the legendary leader of the Tian Luo Gate. People who have seen him describe it as having something in the sky and nothing on the earth. Only then can he arouse my slightest interest. There are still several hours until evening. Although my body has already recovered, I cannot tell the doctor that it has improved so quickly. If others think I am a monster anymore, it is better to finish today's hanging bottle. There is no harm. Suddenly, her stomach rumbled several times. From her memory, Luo Ling'er realized that she should be hungry. So she picked up her phone, recalled the process of ordering takeout in her memory, and ordered grilled skewers, golden needle fat cows, and imperial roasted duck that looked delicious in her memory. Modern cuisine. I'm here. The master of the cultivation world cultivates and absorbs the energy of heaven and earth. People will not feel hungry, so no one studies food, so there is no food to eat. Wearing it in modern times is different. Now that she is a mortal body, she can't help but drool when she thinks about the temptation of delicious food on her tongue. After a while, Huang Tuan arrived with a hint of surprise in his eyes, but he still said professionally and politely, "Hello, this is the takeout you ordered. Have a nice meal." At this moment, Luo Ling'er had just gone to wash her face and cleaned all the dust that had been rubbed against her face due to the fire. At this moment, Luo Ling'er's forehead was tangled behind her ear, messy yet still exuding a hint of temperament. Her deer-like eyes were pitch black and moist, and her nose was small and delicate. Seeing the delicious food, her mouth tilted slightly to both sides with visible joy. Her small face was also full of baby fat, cute and beautiful, making it difficult to speak to her loudly. Luo Ling'er couldn't open the takeout box with one hand as she was holding a hanging bottle. She turned her big eyes to the delivery guy for help. "Gong, handsome guy, do you think my hand is not very convenient? Can you help me open it?" The delivery guy's face turned red as he was stared at by Luo Ling'er. He was asked for help by a beautiful woman and even called handsome. 10,000 of them are fine. The delivery boy approached with a shy expression and opened the delivery box. Luo Ling'er smiled and thanked him, and the boy walked away with shy steps. Luo Ling'er looked at the delicious food in her memory and excitedly picked up her chopsticks. She couldn't wait to taste a bite of roast duck first. With just one bite, Luo Ling'er's eyes lit up, and her heart was also impressed. She began to eat crazily, completely ignoring her appearance. It turned out that modern cuisine is so delicious, and decades of cultivation were in vain. The famous imperial roasted duck from all over the country, with its thin dough wrapped in rich sauce, is served with a perfectly plump roasted duck and crispy scallions, and stuffed into the mouth in one bite. It's simply not too satisfying. Take another bite of golden needle fat beef, the thin slices of meat with a rich and flavorful golden broth. The juice is spicy, sour, and refreshing, with a lingering fragrance in your mouth, and your soul is about to leave your body. Take another sip of grilled skewers, and the meat skewered on the branches of the red willow carries a plant-like fragrance, overflowing with fragrance. Diaphragm. Luo Ling'er patted her belly full of food, satisfied and smashing her mouth. The food inside the takeout box in front of me was swept away. This is life. Lorraine lay back, her chair resting on an upright pillow. The hanging bottle was not finished for a while, and Luo Ling'er picked up her phone with nothing to do. She leisurely opened the note app and said, "I want to actively understand where I will live in the future." Luo Ling'er looked at the novel things in the short video, sometimes amused by the content, sometimes moved to tears, sometimes very angry why the scumbag in the video deserves to be beaten so much. Luo Ling'er hasn't lived so relaxed for a long time. She used to have to stay tight even when sleeping. If God gives her a chance this time, she will definitely seize it. Having made up her mind, Lorraine planned for the future, and the first thing to do for a better life was to resign. "I died suddenly because of writing novels day and night all day. I have to be reborn again, so it's impossible to follow the old path. Make good plans. The hanging bottle has just been finished." After thanking the doctor and nurse, we were discharged from the hospital. After Luo Ling'er came out, she took a taxi and, somewhat unfamiliar, scanned the QR code to make the payment. She first went to the mall and casually bought a dress, then changed into a smoked dinosaur nightgown. Then I took a taxi to my memory submission address, an office building outside the 5th Ring Road of the imperial capital. More than half an hour later, Luo Ling'er arrived downstairs at the company building, but the company was not the entire building, but rented one of the 80-square-meter offices. When Luo Ling'er just graduated, although she studied Western medicine in college, she didn't want to become a doctor, think it over and become a novelist, be more free. At that time, other larger companies needed a famous book to become a contracted writer. Only this company did not need it, and its name was Guangna. So at that time, Luo Ling'er joined the company, and only then did she realize that this place was too different from what she had imagined. There will be short stories and novels on various official accounts with various themes. Every day, everyone needs to hand in unfinished stories. After completion, there will be the initial salary and commission set. Luo Ling'er took a deep breath, withdrew from her memories, and walked briskly into the company. At this time, it happened to be the time for dinner, but when I glanced over, my colleagues were mostly holding a bread or pancake, nibbling and typing, and everyone's face was filled with fatigue. At this moment, editor Zhou, who was referred to by employees as a life-threatening talisman, came out of the office and saw Luo Ling'er. He immediately shouted, "Lorraine! Where's the novel manuscript I asked you to submit? If you can't submit it before 3 p.m. this afternoon, get out of here." Upon hearing this, Luo Ling'er's eyes lit up. "I came to resign today. Editor Zhou, there was a fire at home last night and I just came out of the hospital. I can't submit my manuscript anymore, so I have to resign. Thank you for Editor Zhou's care." The whole company was stunned when they heard this. Now, due to the mask issue, it's not easy to find a job. Why did Lorraine say she wouldn't do it if she didn't? Regardless of the stunned editor Zhou at this moment, Luo Ling'er turned around and bid farewell to her colleagues, then gracefully turned around and left. At the moment of turning around, the sunlight happened to fall on Luo Ling'er's face, capturing a beautiful moment. Colleagues will remember this moment a long time later, working together for so long. Previously, wearing black framed glasses all day and obediently burying her head in writing, Little Transparent suddenly became beautiful and elegant, and her image also grew taller. It was like a fairy about to transform into an immortal. Of course, Lorraine didn't know about these things, she only knew that her beautiful life had begun. After resigning, it was almost time for the scheduled reunion of classmates in the evening. Luo Ling'er took a taxi directly to the address that Qian Duo had sent, the imperial capital Huangtian Hotel. It seems that this is the hotel where her older brother started his own business and tested the waters before taking over the family business, unexpectedly, under the management of the business genius Big Brother. The small hotel in the beginning leapt to become the largest hotel in the imperial capital. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Dare to Offend Me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Dare to Offend Me. But now that the Big Brother has taken over the family business, he doesn't have time to manage it anymore. He just hands it over to the people under his command and only occasionally looks at the annual reports. Luo Ling'er was about to enter the hotel when she was stopped at the entrance. "Sorry, miss, do you have an appointment?" The waiter raised his hand to stop Luo Ling'er, looked up and down, and a hint of contempt appeared. "We don't have an appointment and cannot enter our hotel." Luo Ling'er tilted her head and glanced at the men and women who were leisurely chatting and entering the hotel. Without exception, they were all wearing luxury brands. Luo Ling'er curled her lips and smiled, not wanting to make things difficult for the person who worked for her brother. She explained, "I'm here to attend a classmate gathering." The waiter looked contemptuous. Nowadays, girls have all sorts of excuses to go in and flirt with wealthy people. How could there be such poor classmates who come here for a reunion? Those who come here are either rich or noble. If you want to impersonate a wealthy person, you can also find a better reason, such as your mother cleaning inside. The waiter sneered. Luo Ling'er's eyes were cold, and the waiter was so bold and fearless. In an instant, Luo Ling'er took out the silent powder she had prepared from the space and sprinkled it on the ungrateful waiter in front of her. The waiter, who was still sneering, couldn't laugh the next moment. He pinched his neck with both hands, trying to make a sound, but his face turned red and he couldn't say a word. He knew what the woman in front of him had done, but he reached out and pointed at Lorraine, wanting to accuse her but couldn't make a sound. "If your mouth is not clean, just close it for me. This time it's just a small warning, don't let me see you again." At this moment, the waiter looked at Luo Ling'er as if he had seen a devil, with his widened eyes filled with fear. "If you don't go to the hospital again, I don't mind if you become mute." Luo Ling'er wrapped her hands around her chest and looked at the waiter in front of her with a clown-like expression. The waiter looked relieved and quickly arched his hand at Luo Ling'er, thanking her for letting him go. He quickly took a taxi to the hospital, blocking the way and leaving. Lorraine leisurely walked into the hotel. The entire hall is exquisitely crafted, uniquely styled, and colorful, appearing magnificent and magnificent. She had only heard her older brother mention it before, but she had never come before. But at this moment, she looked around curiously, and in the eyes of others, she became like a bumpkin entering the city, curious about everything she saw. "Lorraine. Is that you?" A voice came from behind, and Luo Ling'er turned around to see two girls dressed in luxury goods. One of the girls had a disdainful expression on her face, while the girl named her walked towards her with a warm expression and took her hand. "Luo Ling'er, it's really you. It's been a long time since we last saw each other. You're becoming more and more beautiful." Luo Ling'er learned from her memory that the girl holding her hand was Qian Duo, who lived in the same dormitory for 4 years in college. During her college years, she was the only one who didn't look down on her like others, and her relationship was relatively good. However, after graduation, she didn't have much contact. The other girl is from the Department of Foreign Languages, probably named Chui Shui. She has always had a high eye and doesn't like classmates from poorer families. During her college years, she often came to the dormitory to change money and go shopping. She was not familiar with her original identity, Duo, long time no see. Upon seeing her roommate from 4 years of college, Luo Ling'er seemed to have returned to her college years and experienced the emotional fluctuations in her original self. She greeted her indifferently, but she disdained anyone who didn't like her. Let's go in quickly, don't make other classmates wait too long. Xian Duo grabbed Luo Ling'er's shoulder and walked with Cui Shui towards Hall 17. Luo Ling'er looked at the hand on her shoulder, with a hint of unease in her eyes. She calmly withdrew from Qian Duo's approach. The world of cultivating immortals is full of dangers, and she has developed a habit of not letting anyone get close to her. Qian Duo didn't care either, talking about interesting things from college and walking towards Hall 17. The Imperial Capital Heavenly Hotel covers an area of 200 square meters with a complete range of entertainment facilities, including cinemas, KTVs, game halls, dining halls, and more. When Luo Ling'er and the others arrived, almost everyone from the medical department of the university was there, and there were also a few classmates from other departments of the same school. As soon as Luo Ling'er entered, the eyes of the boys in the room were mostly drawn away. Is this an alumni of a university? Why don't you remember having such a beautiful and charming classmate? It's not even more beautiful than the school flower Jiang Chuyen. Her already fair skin is accentuated by a white dress, yet it is simple and generous, neither vulgar or glamorous. Her hair is just casually tied with ribbons, exuding youthful vitality throughout her body. Jiang Chuyen looked at herself as she was snatched away by Luo Ling'er, who had just entered. She looked unhappy and looked up and down at Luo Ling'er, a cheap and unremarkable outfit that cost no more than 200 yuan from head to toe. Looking at her face again, she must have gone to a cheap plastic surgery hospital for a facelift. It was too obvious and could not be seen on the stage. She went to the best plastic surgery hospital in Kyoto, using the most famous doctors and advanced technology, and no one could tell. Jiang Chuyen thought for a moment and felt much more at ease. She confidently touched her face full of hyaluronic acid and prosthetics. We haven't seen each other for 3 years, haven't we? Everyone, please sit down and chat. The class monitor of the medical department, Lu Yang, who is the leader of this student gathering, warmly greeted everyone. Qian Duo smiled and pulled Luo Ling'er to sit next to her, while Cui Shui bypassed and sat on the other side of Qian Duo. It was obvious that she didn't like Luo Ling'er, as if getting close to her would get contaminated with something unclean. Luo Ling'er watched the reactions of everyone present and silently defended her original self. You said that you, a wealthy family member, must experience some human suffering and suffer a lot of eye strain for no reason. If it were her, she would just lie flat and not struggle. Why did Luo Ling'er attend this aristocratic school in the first place, or did she decide to rely on herself? Only Emperor University promised to waive tuition fees for students who exceeded the undergraduate admission line by 50 points. Therefore, she concealed her identity and enrolled under the guise of being sponsored by the school with excellent grades. After entering school, all of her living expenses were earned by working on her own, so in the perception of her classmates, Luo Ling'er's family was ordinary, even poor. Most children who grew up in wealthy families cannot understand Luo Ling'er, who had to go to a convenience store to work after class, nor can they accept Luo Ling'er, who only wears a few clothes all day and doesn't know how to go shopping to buy new clothes. Even some playboys may bully and tease her when they see her as pretty. However, although her original body, Luo Ling'er, did not let her brother take care of her affairs, how could her beloved sister's crazy brother really let go of the people who bullied her sister? So anyone who had bullied her original self, even if it was just verbal teasing, was privately scolded by Luo Ling'er's third brother. The person who was scolded thought she was being taken care of by some mafia, so she dared not bully Luo Ling'er again, so her college life was relatively peaceful. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Sorry, I can't say it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Sorry, I can't say it at this moment. Luo Ling'er suddenly felt a sinister gaze falling on her in the crowd. She looked up and swept over, but the malicious gaze had disappeared. however, Luo Ling'er didn't mind either. If someone came to her door to let her play, it would be great. It could add a little fun to her plain life, and she would also thank him well. Taking back a little bit of excitement, she came to the classmate gathering mainly to see the boy who had amazed her whole college life. In her memory, she had been thinking about this boy for 3 years, and she didn't even dare to confess her feelings. It was really outrageous, and she even took care of him. Today, let's take a look at what kind of immortal man this is. But none of the boys sitting here have the appearance they remember. After a few years, the little fresh meat has aged and the cured meat has aged. In the suspicious gaze of Luo Ling'er, the name Zhou Ran came to her ears. Is the banquet open? Is everyone here? Zhou Ran hasn't come yet. I called him and just urged him to come quickly. He should be on his way. Okay, just give him a call to remind him, it's just him. Hey, Zhou Ran, where have you been? We've all arrived, we're just waiting for you. Okay. Zhou Ran said there was a traffic jam on the road, he'll be there in 2 more minutes. Let's serve the dishes first, then wait while serving. This heavenly hotel is owned by my relatives. Feel free to eat today, it's my treat. Upon hearing these words, Luo Ling'er raised her eyebrows and looked at the boy who said these words. He was Qin Wei, a subsidiary of the Qin family, one of the 5 major families in the imperial capital. He had also teased his original body during his college years. At that time, his 3rd brother broke both hands and 3 ribs. This cow is boasting big enough, but Luo Ling'er smiled and remained silent. Sorry everyone, we've been waiting for a long time. The road is too congested. I'll take my own drink. Zhou Ran, you're here. 1 cup is not enough, at least 3 cups. Luo Ling'er turned her head to look at the young man who had just entered. He was wearing a blue shirt, paired with a white T-dot shirt, and had a refreshing short cut. His eyebrows were clear and his eyes were beautiful. Suddenly, she understood why her original body had secretly fallen in love with him at that time. However, she has now experienced the soul of a large-scale sun.in.law selection in the cultivation world. At first, because she was strong enough and had a high vision, she didn't have a target for double cultivation for a long time. The elders within the sect once held a sun.in.law selection competition for her, targeting young men of appropriate age in the fully cultivated immortal realm. As a legendary figure in the cultivation world, Luo Ling'er's selection of a sun.in.law has caused a sensation throughout the entire cultivation world. There are various types of handsome men everywhere, such as small milk dogs, small wolf dogs, small wild dogs, and so on. However, Luo Ling'er didn't take a liking to any of them. Looking at Zhou Ran now, compared to other types of brothers, he is far inferior and simply incomparable. His appearance needs to be showcased during the registration process. TSK, Luo Ling'er. Your vision is a bit low. Luo Ling'er couldn't help but sigh in her heart. Ling'er, what are you looking at? Qian Duo followed Luo Ling'er's gaze and saw Zhou Ran, who was being fined for being late. Several people were taking turns drinking, and Zhou Ran politely responded one by one, handsome, I think our level has only been a few weeks without being wasted. Look at that Sun Ku, who hasn't seen us for years, has a belly like a baby in October, and you also look at the one wearing a hat. Do you remember who he was? That was the school grass from back then. He just got married a few years ago and went bald. Has Zhou Ran married yet? Luo Ling'er asked curiously as she looked at Qian Duo. Zhou Ran seems to have been single all along, saying he has someone he has liked for a long time, but for some reason he hasn't been together. After listening, Luo Ling'er felt lost in thought. No wonder her original self never confessed. She had someone in her heart. Ling'er, try this one, it's delicious. My dad often buys it for me from abroad. Qian Duo warmly greeted Luo Ling'er. In college, she had always liked this beautiful roommate. After so many years of not seeing her, she became even more beautiful. However, she had no resistance to all beautiful people and things. Luo Ling'er, you should eat more. You don't usually get these, maybe you haven't even seen them before. After Jiang Chuyan finished speaking, he covered his mouth and chuckled lightly, with a strong contempt in his eyes. There was a moment of silence on the dining table, and everyone's eyes were focused on Lorraine. At this moment, Zhou Ran, who was returning to drink, also put down his glass and looked at Lorraine sitting in the corner, but at this moment, the satirical protagonist seemed to have not heard him, calmly and elegantly eating the delicious dishes on the table. Jiang Chuyan, you're going too far. We're all classmates, is it necessary to speak like this? Although Jiang Chuyan is the daughter of the Jiang family, one of the 5 major families in Kyoto, Qian Duoduo's family has no business dealings with the Jiang family. Therefore, Qian Duoduo is not afraid to retaliate and protect Luo Ling'er. Luo Ling'er didn't expect that a classmate she hadn't seen in years would still help her speak. Her eyes warmed and she patted Qian Duoduo's head. Duo, people cannot argue with fools about their strengths or weaknesses, and they will lose value. Who are you calling a fool? Whoever takes the call is fine. Luo Ling'er put down her chopsticks for dinner, and the taste of the food in this big hotel has also improved. There is no delicious takeout yet, so I need to give my brother some advice. You uneducated thing, I think you're asking me to teach you for your parents. After Jiang Chuyan finished speaking, he got up in anger and was about to rush to Luo Ling'er. When Luo Ling'er was excited and thought that there was another white mouse that could test the medicinal powder she had developed in the cultivation world, unexpectedly, Zhou Ran reached out and stopped Jiang Chuyan, who was furious at the moment. Today is a happy day, just control your emotions. Do you want others to see the Jiang family's jokes? Jiang Chuyan was about to lose her temper when she saw the heads and faces of people coming and going at the door, all looking inside. She withdrew her ferocious expression and straightened her broken hair in her ear. I won't let you go, you wait for me. After speaking, Jiang Chuyan showed a self-proclaimed charming smile and continued to greet his classmates around him. There are still a few families like Qian Duoduo whose business does not conflict with the Jiang family, and most family businesses still require the support of the Jiang family, so no one wants to offend the daughter of the Jiang family in front of them for the sake of a poor classmate. Just now, Jiang Chuyan, who was particularly angry, listened to the praise of his classmates around him and felt much better. That ignorant Luo Ling'er will deal with her another day. When Luo Ling'er saw that the white mouse was gone, there was a hint of disappointment in her eyes. Her gaze towards Zhou Ran also carried a hint of dissatisfaction. Mind your own business. At this moment, Zhou Ran, who was staring at me, looked blank. Did she just give me a white glance? Zhou Ran rubbed her eyes. Shouldn't she be grateful to me so much? I must have misread earlier. Should I take another look? Baby, do you have a 5-star rating? I'm right, you're right, rating in progress. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. I choose 3. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. I choose 3. We haven't seen each other after graduation for so many years, and it's fate to be here again. Let's raise our glasses, long live our friendship. Class monitor Lu Yang saw that the atmosphere was too stiff and tried to smooth things out. Cheers, I did it, you can do whatever you want. After dinner was almost over, everyone started chatting in groups of 3 or 2. A group of people gathered around the daughter of the Jiang family, trying to build relationships. Their companies were all bidding for the Jiang family's project. This time, I came to attend a classmate gathering, which was also aimed at the Jiang family. Miss Jiang, recently I heard that your brother's company has bid for a government project. We are all old classmates now. You eat meat, take us for a drink of soup. Don't worry, we're all old classmates now. If there's a project, we'll definitely consider you first. Jiang Chuyan enjoyed the feeling of being surrounded by others very much, proudly holding a red wine glass and chatting with the classmates around him. Qian Duoduo took Cui Shui and Luo Ling'er to the karaoke room on the side to sing. She came here purely for fun, staying at home. Her grandmother would only talk about the sons of each family being talented and the grandsons of each family having successful careers, rushing her to go on blind dates. She shouldn't be at home if she has this opportunity to come out. Perhaps memories fell into the sea, perhaps some past events cannot be recalled, perhaps time will steal and wait. This is love, this is, cough cough cough, sorry, I got up high. Xian Duo ordered a song by Zhang Jia called This Is Love, and as she reached her climax, she suddenly went out of tune. The people next to her quickly blocked their ears with their fingers, and their eardrums were about to break. They were singing for money, and she was dying now. My song, my song. Cui Shui quickly cut it, the next one, long time no see. At this moment, while scrolling through short videos, Luo Ling'er looked up and found out it was Zhou Ran. Long time no see. Lorraine politely replied, do you still remember me? Of course, how have you been these years? They said you have a boyfriend, and are you married, boyfriend? Why are you speaking so tactfully? Did someone tell you that I was taken care of? Sister is still single. No, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. Zhou Ran didn't expect Luo Ling'er to speak so boldly. He was startled and quickly denied it. It's okay, I'm not afraid to say things I haven't done before. Luo Ling'er looked at the green and astringent little milk dog in front of her, who thought her face would instantly turn red if she said the wrong thing, and couldn't help but curl her lips and smile. Zhou Ran's face turned even redder when he saw the smile on Luo Ling'er's face in front of him. Luo Ling'er looked at Zhou Ran's somewhat shy face and was very puzzled. He wouldn't also like his original Luo Ling'er, would he? It would be too cruel for them to love each other but not know each other. I have always been single. I thought you would get married after graduation, so I haven't contacted you. I heard that you will also come to this classmate gathering, so I just wanted to come and see you. Well, that's all from college, it's all over now. Luo Ling'er saw that things were not going well, so she quickly put away her smile. But you're single, and I'm also single, aren't you? People need to look forward, and if they miss something, they need to grasp what they have now. Zhou Ran was about to muster the courage to say something when he was interrupted by Luo Ling'er. There are some things that need to be said clearly, but Lorraine doesn't like to procrastinate and quickly cuts through the chaos, best. After listening to Luo Ling'er's words, Zhou Ran felt like he was on a roller coaster. Did he miss it? You're right, look ahead, but if you can't be a couple, you can still be friends. Do you mind having an extra friend? Don't think too much, just an ordinary friend. Of course not. Would it be convenient for you to give me your phone number so that I can keep in touch in the future? Luo Ling'er happily handed over her phone and said that it would be good if she opened it. As for her friend, she is the one who needs it the most. Zhou Ran entered his own number, played it over, took out his phone that was ringing from his pocket, and saved the number. I'll go talk to them for a while first. You have a good time playing. Luo Ling'er nodded at Zhou Ran and looked at the happy money duo in K. Duo, I'm a bit tired today. I'll go back first. Xian Duo hurriedly came over and took Luo Ling'er's hand, not letting her go. It's only a few o'clock. Are there any men waiting for you at home when you go back so early? Xian Duo looked at Luo Ling'er with a gossipy expression on his face, smiling. She really liked this classmate whom she hadn't seen for many years. No man can make me go home early yet, but I'm really tired today. Let's reschedule another day. Luo Ling'er's matter has been completed, and he has helped the original body speak words that have been hidden in his heart for many years, so he does not want to stay here longer. Okay, schedule another day. Please be careful on the way. Xian Duo reluctantly bid farewell to Luo Ling'er and went back to continue his journey. He finally ran out and played for a while, saving himself from being nagged by his grandmother. Luo Ling'er came out of Hall 17 and went to a restroom. When she came out, she found several people following her stealthily. Luo Ling'er remained calm and tried to suppress her inner excitement. She silently prayed in the people who followed her, preferably plotting against her, so after leaving the hotel, Luo Ling'er didn't take a taxi immediately, but instead walked more and more off course, walking onto a deserted path. Stop following, come out. Luo Ling'er turned around and shouted towards the corner. The person who thought he was hiding well at the corner was taken aback for a moment. He looked around and saw no one passing by. Since he had been discovered, let's solve it here. Long time no see. Lorraine, the first person to step out, was Qin Wei, who had been scolded by her third brother in college, followed by a few of his fox friends and dog friends. Luo Ling'er, do you want to play with your brother? Follow me, I'll ensure you enjoy your food and drink spicy food. Are you the only one who deserves it? Luo Ling'er lazily leaned against the corner of the wall, looking at the sleazy man in front of her, and coldly opened her mouth. Damn it, what kind of innocent girl are you pretending to be? I knew how to find a man in college. Brother, I didn't mind your fickle nature. How dare you still dislike me? I'll give you two choices. First, be my little lover. With my family background and status, I won't treat you unfairly. Second, if you don't know what to do, I'll be here tonight to make our brothers feel good. I choose 3. 3, where is 3? Are you deaf? Just as Qin Wei stepped forward to prepare to take action, he heard a crisp sound and his body flew out. The others watched helplessly as their leader curved in the air and fell to the ground with a bang sound. At this moment, half of the person lying on the ground's face instantly swelled like a pig's head, with teeth flipping in the air and rolling to one side. At this moment, time is still, and everyone's mouths are open enough to fit an egg. They look at the weak girl in front of them with a shocked expression. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. The Daughter of the Heavenly Way. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. The Daughter of the Heavenly Way. Qin Wei lay on the ground for a long time, finally able to open his mouth. Just as he was about to say something, blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Mud. Mud dares to lay a nest. Red earth, put it on the nest. Wash this little cheap silver. Due to Qin Wei's teeth being knocked out several times, his speech leaked and he sounded particularly comical, but after Qin Wei finished speaking, no one rushed forward for a long time. He struggled to turn his swollen head, only to find that the brothers who were originally standing behind him were missing. It turned out that after witnessing Luo Ling'er's delicate blow, his fox friends and dog friends all seemed to have seen ghosts, leaving Qin Wei and fleeing in a hurry. Don't look, your brothers may have suddenly caught fire at home and left. Luo Ling'er looked innocent, as if it wasn't her who was so cruel just now. I hit you. Do you want to call back? Qin Wei stared at her with a fierce expression in his eyes. Luo Ling'er lifted her delicate chin slightly, with contempt in her eyes. I allow you to fight back, but you also need to be able to beat me. I see that your body is weak, and I could slap you flying just now. It seems like you can't do it. After Luo Ling'er finished speaking, her eyes twitched and she glanced at the place, revealing a look on her face. Qin Wei was almost spewed out with a mouthful of old blood from Luo Ling'er's anger, which was too insulting. He even said he couldn't beat him. What is very good. You can play with market fruits all night. The mud is wide and the house is wide. Qin Wei struggled to stand up and was about to fight against Luo Ling'er. Just now, it must have been him who underestimated the enemy. This Luo Ling'er doesn't have much strength to look at, and he can conquer her with just one glance. Since you brought me over to relax my muscles and bones, I'll accept it with a smile. Bang, Jie, don't provoke, wofu provoke. Wofu provoke. What are you saying? Let me continue. You really resist beating me. Bang bang. Pop. A mournful howl echoed through the alley, and in the end, Luo Ling'er got tired and turned her wrist. You are the most resistant person I have ever encountered, and I allow you to become my sandbag. I will see you again and hit you again in the future. Qin Wei, who was still breathing, fainted completely upon hearing these words. Luo Ling'er bent down to sniff Qin Wei's breath and casually fed him a pill. It's okay, there's still gas, my original body is quite useful, and I still have a few injuries in my hands. I only need a few months of cultivation to recover. After all, in a rule of law society, fighting for human life is not good. Luo Ling'er clapped her hands and walked away, not noticing that someone had passed by the intersection and happened to see her hitting someone. Luo Ling'er had just loosened her muscles and bones, feeling very comfortable all over her body. At this moment, she wanted to take a taxi home, take a shower, and have a good sleep, but she suddenly remembered that her house was on fire and she had nowhere to sleep. It was really a sad thing, however. The sadness lasted only 3 seconds, and Luo Ling'er thought of taking this opportunity to live in Daebiyi, so I picked up my phone and dialed her third brother's number. The Luozhai has arrived. The butler gentleman sent by the third brother to pick up Luo Ling'er opened the car door. Luo Ling'er jumped out of the car and looked at the magnificent villa in front of her, stunned. I like it. I like it. I like it. Say important things 3 times. This is her house. This is where she will lie flat in the future. Bashi, tu bashi. At this moment, Luo Ling'er's disappointment at her failure to cross the tribulation was completely gone. The heavenly Tao simply favored her too much. Can it be said that she is actually the heavenly Tao's biological daughter, just descended to earth to experience the tribulation? The young men haven't even come back yet, and there are some things that haven't been finished yet. Mr. Luo is already waiting for you inside. The butler's grandfather quietly interrupted Luo Ling'er's thoughts and led her into the villa. Luo Ling'er only realized that there was a unique cave inside. The outside was already gorgeous enough, and the inside could be described as luxurious and inhumane. There were gardens, swimming pools, piano rooms, dance studios, and so on, all in one place. Ling'er, do you know you've come back? It's been so many years since you moved out of high school. Every time you're asked to stay, you have a bunch of reasons. This time you're back, just stay and don't leave. Dad Luo walked over excitedly when he saw his precious daughter coming back. On the phone, he heard the third person say that her daughter was coming back to live, but he didn't believe it. He saw it with his own eyes, so he had to confirm in person. His daughter had her own ideas since she was young, and he wouldn't keep restraining her. Happiness is the most important thing in life. Luo Ling'er looked at her with a worried expression in front of her, and saw her excited and happy cheap dad when she came back, feeling warm in her heart. I won't leave this time when I come back. There's no luxury in that shabby apartment. Luo Ling'er mischievously blinked at her father. Just don't leave. Are you hungry? I have prepared some late-night snacks in the kitchen. Dad Luo looked at his lovely little daughter in front of him, and the more he looked at her, the more he liked her. Those stinky kids would only talk back to him, and there was no better girl. He completely forgot that his daughter didn't love to go home since high school. Luo Ling'er's eyes lit up when she heard that there was a late-night snack. The food she had eaten at the gathering earlier had already been digested. I'm hungry, thank you Dad. Luo Ling'er's coquettish tone, like sweet cotton candy, softened the heart of the usually dignified CEO. If you're hungry, wash your hands quickly and come eat. When you come back today, I specifically asked the kitchen to cook a few more dishes. Please see if it suits your taste. I want my dad to eat with me, Luo Ling'er said, carrying his father's arm over his shoulder. Dad Luo's body stiffened and he lowered his head to conceal the tears that were about to flow from his eyes. It had been a long time since his daughter hugged him so affectionately and acted coquettishly. When Luo Ling'er sat down at the dinner table, she was stunned. How many dishes did she make? Do you have any misunderstandings about a few things? There are dozens of dazzling dishes in front of us, which cannot be described as abundant. She eagerly picked up her chopsticks and ate them in big gulps. Luo's father looked at his lovely daughter, who was stuffing her mouth like a little squirrel, and suddenly felt a great pain. He had to endure so much hardship outside in the past few years. Dad Luo felt sour in his heart and reached out to pick up a large piece of pork ribs for his precious daughter. Eat slowly, no one is competing with you. Luo Ling'er looked up, puffed her cheeks and smiled at Luo's father, continuing to fight against the delicious food. Dad Luo couldn't help but raise his lips slightly and continued to add vegetables to his precious daughter. Old Wang and Old Han always boast that his daughter always sticks to them at home, like a small cotton jacket. he used to be very envious, and even a little envious. He sighed inwardly about why his daughter was so independent. She had long since stopped being clingy to people. He still missed her childhood when she was always clinging to him and calling him dad. Now that my daughter is finally coming back to live, we must not let her move out this time. Luo Ling'er didn't know what was going on in her father's heart at this moment, and probably would say, "I'm not stupid. I don't live in a villa, I live in an apartment. I won't move out this time if I die." Just when Luo's father was worried that his precious daughter might burst from eating so much, Luo Ling'er put down her chopsticks with satisfaction. This was the most sumptuous meal that Lorraine had ever had since she arrived in this world, and in the end, she could only collapse into a chair, hiccup, so happy. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Giving my grandchild to you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Giving my grandchild to you, dong dong dong. Ling'er, you haven't gotten up yet. The sun is shining on your buttocks at this moment. On the spacious bed of Shimengsi, two slender and pure white arms stretched out from the blanket, revealing a flawless face like a sleeping beauty. With the sound of knocking on the door, a pair of clear and watery eyes slowly opened, with a hint of drowsiness. The sound at the door seems to be from third brother. Last night, all the brothers came back very late, and by the time they came back, she had already fallen asleep. Third brother, why? I haven't woken up yet. Today, Big Brother said he will celebrate your return home at the Heavenly Hotel. Big Brother and Second Brother have already arrived. Get up quickly, let's go. You and Dad go first, I'll be there later. Luo Ling'er rolled on the bed, and it was better than a wooden one. When Luo Ling'er finally started up successfully and changed her clothes, she found that her third brother had specially sent a driver to wait for her at the door. A wealthy family is different, as there are cars available when going out, but just as they were about to arrive at the hotel, the car suddenly brake, startling Lorraine. "Miss, I'm sorry, I seem to have bumped into an old lady. Let me go down and take care of it." The driver nervously finished speaking and got off the car. Luo Ling'er poked her head in front of the car and saw an old lady sitting on the ground, supporting her legs as if in pain. Luo Ling'er immediately got off the car and walked up to the old lady. "Old lady, do you want to go to the hospital?" This old lady is not dressed in ordinary clothes. It doesn't seem like she's hitting porcelain. "No need, you didn't bump into me. This is my old problem. Don't be nervous, I'm not deceiving anyone." The old lady endured the pain, looked kindly, and looked up at the little girl in front of her. Luo Ling'er stepped forward to help the old lady up, sat down on the roadside, and calmly gave the old man a pulse, his eyes darkening. "Have you had a physical examination recently?" The old lady was taken aback. Did this girl see anything? "Yes, I have a physical examination every year. My leg is an old problem and it's not a problem." "Madam, your leg is not a big problem, but have you ever had your liver checked?" "Ah, girl, have you studied traditional Chinese medicine? Can you even tell that I have liver cancer?" Luo Ling'er was originally cautious and afraid that the old lady wouldn't accept it. She wanted to indirectly ask her to go and check, but to her surprise, the old lady was so cheerful. "My liver cancer is in its early stages. The doctor said a small surgery is enough, there's no big problem." "That's good, old lady. Your leg is suffering from old rheumatism. You can gradually recover by pressing these acupoints a few more times." Luo Ling'er reached out and found several acupoints on the old lady's leg, pressed them a few times, and instructed, "Can you stand up and try? Are your legs much better now?" The old lady tentatively stood up and slowly lifted her legs for 2 steps, and it was indeed no longer painful. With a turn of her eyes, she turned around and took Luo Ling'er's hand. "You are really my life-saving benefactor. I must repay you. All right, I'll give my grandson to you as medical expenses. What do you think, girl?" The first time Luo Ling'er encountered someone who pressed 2 acupoints and was about to give her grandson a baby, if she were placed like this in her past life, her harem beauties would not be able to withstand 3,000 blows. This old lady is too exaggerated. "Madam, your leg is fine, it's just a bit old with rheumatism. Just go back and press the acupoints I pressed for you earlier. My grandson is so handsome. Let me show you some photos. Old lady, no need. I have something else to do. Since you're okay, I'll leave first. The first time Luo Ling'er encountered this situation, she grabbed onto the car and ran away. Just getting on the car, Luo Ling'er was nervously patting her little chest. The old lady now is too scary. At this moment, the old lady standing by the roadside looked regretful and said, "What a great granddaughter. Law. She hasn't left a phone number yet. Grandma, why did you come out on your own? The doctor asked you to rest more and take Aunt Wong with you if you insist on going out in the future." A luxury car with a Beijing 8888 license plate was parked next to the old lady. A young man in a suit and leather shoes got off the car and helped the old lady onto the car. "Zine, I found your wife." Young people, Luo Ling'er arrived at the entrance of the hotel. As soon as the car stopped, a waiter came to open the door. Luo Ling'er looked up and said, "Oh, you're still an acquaintance." The one who came to open the door was obviously the waiter who had been scolded for speaking wildly last time. He had originally seen a luxury car and was excited to open the door. Usually, wealthy people like this give a lot of tips. Unexpectedly, the person who got off the car was the one who poisoned and mute him last time. That day he went to the hospital, and the doctor actually said that it was just a slight inflammation in his throat, and he just needed an anti-inflammatory injection, causing him to report to the police that someone had poisoned him. The police did not believe him and believed that he had delusions of being murdered. Seeing this woman again this time, she still got off the luxury car, making him even more afraid to act recklessly. "Miss, welcome to the Heavenly Hotel. I learned well this time and made progress." Luo Ling'er looked at the low brow and pleasing waiter in front of her and patted his shoulder. "People, I still can't get used to it." Luo Ling'er strode into the hotel and flipped through her phone, as if the third brother had sent a message saying it was in a private room on the top floor. Luo Ling'er followed the receptionist to the top floor. As soon as the elevator door opened, it almost blinded her. The entire top floor is decorated with pink balloons and ribbons, and there is also an arch with 6 big characters written on it. Celebrating little sister's going home, the people in the private room heard the sound of the elevator opening the door and ran out together. They were all her cheap dad and her 3 big brothers. "Little sister, come in quickly. Our family hasn't had a good gathering for a long time. Baby girl, come on, what I ordered are all your favorite foods." Luo Ling'er was enveloped by the love of her family time and time again, warming her cold heart inside. Surrounded by her father and brother, Luo Ling'er entered the private room and sat down to carefully examine her 3 brothers. On the far left, with a refined and elegant appearance, extraordinary elegance, and a calm demeanor like his father, it should be his elder brother Luo Zihao. After his father retired to the front line, his elder brother took over the family business. On the left side, with fair skin and delicate features with a touch of beauty and gentleness, it should be the second brother Luo Zichin. No wonder second brother is currently a popular male star in the entertainment industry. With just one word, he's amazing. The chattering on her right side should be the third brother Luo Zishi, who woke her up from her beautiful dream. The third brother has deep facial features and looks elegant, which is different from the eldest and second brothers. It is a kind of bold and handsome demeanor, but he is a well-known playboy in Kyoto who drives and fights, and doesn't take his job seriously. "Ling'er, is there anything on my face?" Luo Zixi looked at the little girl staring at him in confusion, wiping her hands haphazardly. What's there, where is it? A bit handsome. Ha ha ha. Luo Zixi was taken aback for a moment, and her ears continued to turn red. "Little sister is really naughty." Dad Luo and big brother looked at Luo Zishi's instantly flushed face. This kid usually has a face like a city wall. When has he ever blushed? Watching this strange scene, I couldn't help but burst out laughing. My little sister, daughter, is really getting cuter and cuter. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Successfully saving a person. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Successfully saving a person. Just as Luo Ling'er and her family were enjoying their meal, a sudden ringing of the phone rang, and the older brother Luo Zihao took out his phone and went out to answer a call. After returning, his face darkened and he whispered something to his father Luo Lingyan's ear. "Ling'er, I'll have your second brother take you back later. There's something I need to deal with at the company." Luo Ling'er knew that something big must have happened in the company when she saw that her older brother and father were not looking well. "You guys go ahead and get busy. I want to go buy something later. Second brother doesn't need to give me a gift. Take this card and buy whatever you want. Don't refuse anymore. After buying it, go home early." Luo Lingyun instructed anxiously and handed over a black gold credit card with unlimited credit limit. After speaking, Luo Lingyun hurriedly left with Luo Zihao. "Second brother, third brother, whatever you want to do, go ahead and I'll go shopping. I'll withdraw first. I still have a game tonight." Sango Luo Zishi withdrew directly. "I'll accompany you." Luo Zichen doesn't trust his beautiful sister to go shopping alone and wants to accompany her. "Second brother, if you accompany me out shopping with this face, I'm afraid I'll be scolded to death by your fans. Let me go." With a pleading expression on her face, Luo Ling'er directly teased Luo Zichen, but after laughing, I suddenly felt that stepping into the entertainment industry might have been a wrong decision. I couldn't even do such a small thing as accompanying my sister shopping. Tomorrow, no. Resign now. Turning around, I made a phone call. Mike, I'm resigning." Luo Ling'er smiled helplessly, and his second brother was simply a hidden treasure. After leaving the hotel, Luo Ling'er took the cheap black gold card given by her father and went to the mall. She doesn't understand anything about the company, so let's leave it to cheap dad and big brother. She wants to be a rice worm and lie flat in reality. Her things were all burned up and she had to go buy some. Dad had already arranged everything else in the old house of the Luo family, but she still had to buy some things herself. Luo Ling'er walked into the mall and saw many people gathered in front of her. She didn't know what they were doing, but out of curiosity, she walked over. It turned out that an old grandfather suddenly fainted and lost consciousness. There are kind-hearted people around shouting. "Is there a doctor? Call 120 quickly. Has the ambulance not arrived yet?" I just called 120 and said there was a series of car accidents at the intersection. The ambulance has to take a detour and it will take at least 40 minutes. The onlookers formed a circle around the old man and came up with suggestions. Suddenly, someone pointed to a person behind the crowd and said, "Is that Dr. Lu from the People's Hospital? Dr. Lu, come and take a look here. An old man has fainted." At this moment, Dr. Lu, who was being shouted out, stiffened for a second. His originally planned detour was abruptly stopped, and he reluctantly turned around, showing a feigned anxiety as he rushed towards the crowd. Today, he finally took a break and encountered such a thing again. It's really unlucky. Luo Ling'er was unaware of what was happening around the crowd and took the initiative to feel the pulse of the fainting old man. Suddenly, a woman with big waves on her head came over and pushed Lorraine away with a disdainful expression on her face. "I'm a doctor. Don't get in the way here and delay treatment. Are you responsible?" When Luo Ling'er saw a doctor coming, she gave way to the doctor and stood aside. Pushing away Luo Ling'er was Dr. Lu from the crowd. Dr. Lu used his medical knowledge to provide first aid to the elderly who had fainted on the ground, waiting for the arrival of an ambulance. "You can't press his chest now, it will make it even more difficult for the elderly person to breathe." As soon as Luo Ling'er touched the old man's pulse, she knew that she couldn't press his chest at all, so she stepped forward to stop her. "What do you know? What do you do? Just point your finger and get out of here." The woman ignored Luo Ling'er's advice and rudely pushed her away, insisting on continuing her first aid. After the woman's manipulation, the old man on the ground suddenly became short-sighted in breathing, his face turned red, and his condition became even worse. Dr. Lu was instantly panicked when she saw this situation, but she couldn't admit that it was because of her stubborn behavior that the patient's condition worsened. "This old man is not doing well, his condition is deteriorating too quickly. I have tried my best to extend his life, but it still doesn't work. Dr. Luo pretended to have a disappointed and sad expression on his face. You step aside. Luo Ling'er saw that the old man's condition had worsened and he could no longer stand idly by. He knelt down next to the old man and checked his pulse again, pretending to take out a small cloth bag from his pocket. In fact, he took it out of space and opened it, which was full of long and short needles. Are you a doctor? Dr. Luo asked the girl in front of him. Luo Ling'er dare not claim to be a doctor. She does not have a medical certificate and practicing medicine is illegal, and she will be imprisoned. No, but my master has taught me how to treat grandpa's condition. Luo Ling'er suddenly found a reason, but the needle she picked up in her hand kept piercing several of the old man's acupoints accurately. You're not a doctor. What were you talking about earlier? This old man must be rushed to the hospital for surgery before he can be treated. You're not a doctor, and you dare to touch patients. It's crazy. I think you're just taking human life for granted. You're a little apprentice practicing with people. I'll call the police now to catch you. How dare you touch this old man if you're not a doctor? Little girl, why don't you get up and ask Dr. Luo for first aid? Why are you so ruthless, little girl? What if you kill the master again? Wait for the ambulance. What should you do if this little girl causes someone to die? As soon as the onlookers heard that the girl was not a doctor and didn't have much confidence in her rescue efforts, they watched as the long needle pierced into the old man's skin, sweating profusely for him. I am studying traditional Chinese medicine, and I can save this old man. Luo Ling'er explained confidently and calmly, just now, through my first aid, this old man still had a chance to be saved. You randomly injected needles, and it will be your responsibility if anything happens to the old man. Dr. Luo saw that the old man lying on the ground was not doing well, and he had long wanted to throw the blame. Now there happened to be a scapegoat, so hurry up and take responsibility. Even if the person dies, it has nothing to do with her. We all rely on this scammer to practice medicine without a certificate. Luo Ling'er ignored this unethical doctor and focused on treating him. After applying the needle for a few minutes, the old man's face turned even redder and he looked like he was about to die. Look at you, you're going to kill the old man. Dr. Luo gloated and said cold words, but the next second, he slapped his face. Hey, it seems that the old man's breathing is not as fast anymore. My face looks better now. This little girl is really amazing. Dr. Luo from the People's Hospital has no choice but to save her. This little girl has excellent medical skills. The onlookers have been observing the old man's condition, fearing that the girl might have killed him. At this moment, they saw that the old man lying on the ground seemed much better, and praised Luo Ling'er one after another, with admiration in their eyes. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Born in the entertainment industry and reached its peak upon debut. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 was born in the entertainment industry and reached its peak upon debut. After a while, the ambulance also arrived, and Lorraine got up and packed her cloth bag, ready to leave. It was just a small gesture. Dr. Luo suddenly reached out and grabbed Luo Ling'er, who was about to leave. What are you running so fast? You also have to follow along. In case the elderly person is cured by you, you will have to bear the responsibility for the medical accident. Dr. Luo is afraid that if the elderly person goes to the hospital and experiences any accidents, she will also participate in emergency treatment and bear the responsibility for medical accidents. Luo Ling'er was also worried that the old man would go to the hospital. When he encountered a quack like Dr. Luo again, he also got into an ambulance and followed him to the hospital. After arriving at the hospital, the elderly person underwent a series of examinations and was pushed into the emergency room. Through communication with the emergency doctor, Luo Ling'er confirmed that the doctor understood the condition of the old man and that his life was not in danger. He then calmly sat on the bench at the entrance of the emergency room to rest. I originally wanted to buy, but accidentally saved someone, which can be considered as accumulating virtue and doing good deeds. I don't know how the company's affairs have been handled, but this has alarmed my retired father. It should be very tricky, right? how is my dad doing? A middle-aged man in a suit and leather shoes ran over to ask the doctor, covered in dust and sweat. His face was covered in sweat, and his tie was crooked, looking very embarrassed. Still undergoing surgery, don't worry, but thanks to this little girl's timely first aid, there is a high probability of the surgery being successful. The middle-aged man listened to the doctor's words and relaxed his tense strings. He walked up to Lorraine. Thank you, little girl. Without you today, the consequences would be unimaginable. You're welcome. Ding! At this moment, the lights in the emergency room went out, and the doctor pushed the man who had completed the surgery out. The man's anesthesia had not yet passed, the surgery went smoothly. Thank you, doctor. The middle-aged man completely calmed down and looked at his weak father in the hospital bed, feeling scared after a long pause. Little girl, you saved my father. Here is 300,000 yuan without a password. This is my business card, and you can come to me for anything in the future. Luo Ling'er didn't expect to save someone and get 300,000 yuan. It seems that modern money is also so easy to earn. At this moment, Dr. Lu, who came over to see Luo Ling'er laugh, trembled with regret. She only earns 300,000 yuan a month. If I had known earlier, if I hadn't pulled this girl over, the money would have belonged to her. Even Luo Ling'er didn't leave a trace and took the bank card and business card handed over by the middle-aged man. Although dressed in a wealthy family and holding the black and gold card given by my father, I earned it by my own abilities, so don't waste it. In her past life, the people who begged her to take action to save her were about to trample down the immortal spirit peak. Her medical skills were not something that could make her leave the mountain with money. Luo Ling'er happily held her first bucket of gold and turned around to leave the hospital. As I walked past Dr. Lu, who was full of jealousy, I decided to give her some advice. After all, with one more good doctor, there would be fewer tragedies in the world. Dr. Lu, you should know a truth. There are people outside of us, and there are heavens outside of us. You should also know that doctors are kind-hearted. If you don't even have the most basic medical ethics, then you're not worthy of being a doctor. Dr. Lu shouted angrily at the back of Luo Ling'er as he left, you're a few years old, you don't even have a medical certificate. What kind of crazy talk are you making here? Then, as the patients and nurses passed by, they looked at her with a surprised expression on their faces, realizing something was amiss. They turned around and returned to the office, slamming the door shut. Luo Ling'er left the hospital and it was already dark. She took out her phone and glanced at it. It was already 9 p.m. and the mall was closing soon. So she took a taxi back home. At the doorstep, from a distance, I heard a strange voice hysterically accusing me of something. Chen Baobao. You can't be so capricious. Your endorsement, movie, and TV drama contracts for the second half of the year have already been fully signed, and now you're giving up. What do you want fans to do? As soon as Luo Ling'er entered the door, she saw her second brother sitting on the sofa, leisurely drinking coffee. A man wearing a green beret, a red checkered shirt, white slim-fitting leggings, and black bright leather shoes was standing opposite her second brother, pinching his orchid finger and blushing as he kept outputting to him. Second brother, Dad, haven't they come back yet? Luo Ling'er interrupted the man who was outputting. Ling'er, you're back. Dad and his team haven't come back yet, so they probably haven't finished their work yet. Have you eaten yet? Luozikin's eyes lit up when he saw his precious sister coming back, and finally he didn't have to listen to Mike's Tang Monk Sutra anymore. Oh my, who is this? Chen Baobao, please introduce me. When Luo Zichen's agent Mike saw Luo Ling'er, he excitedly ran to Luo Ling'er's side and looked up and down. This is my little sister. Don't try to trick her, there's no way. When Luo Zichen saw Mike's gaze, he knew what he was up to. He quickly pulled Luo Ling'er behind him, like an old hen protecting a little chicken. Luo Zichen's gaze at Mike was like looking at that eagle. This little beauty is your precious little sister that you talk about all day long. Mike bypassed Luo Zichen and reached out to Luo Ling'er. Hello, I am Kyoto Gold Medal Agent, Mike. Nice to meet you. Hurry up, my sister doesn't want to know you. Luo Ling'er knocked down Mike's eagle paw, blocking Mike's aggressive gaze again. Ling'er sister, are you interested in entering the entertainment industry? I can provide you with the best resources in Kyoto, ensuring that you can make your debut in 1 month, become popular in half a year, even more popular than Chen Baobao, and earn millions of dollars annually. How about that? Are you interested? Mike stared at Lorraine with sparkling eyes, as if he had seen some gemstone. With his appearance and physique, was he at the pinnacle of his career? This is simply born for the entertainment industry, it's a pity not to be a celebrity. Hello Mike, I don't have any plans to enter the entertainment industry right now. Mike's offer is very tempting, but Luo Ling'er is the daughter of the Luo family. Money is not important. If someone else gives her, she can take it and let her go out to support herself. Don't even think about it, it's too tiring. Mike heard Lorraine's refusal and the bright light in his eyes went out with a snap. It's a pity, it's a pity. What a great talent in the entertainment industry. Chen Baobao, you have such a perfect younger sister. If you don't introduce me to her earlier, even if we can't work together, it would still be very pleasing to see her every day. You still want to see me every day, but what you're thinking is beautiful. Tomorrow, you won't even be able to see me. You go, I'm going to be with my sister. After Luo Ling'er finished speaking, he pulled Mike out. You can't imagine it. Tomorrow morning, you have to shoot the cover of In Fashion magazine. Bang! Luo Ling'er pushed Mike out and slammed the door shut. End of this chapter.